right, so yeah, that's the backstory of what I'm doing.
From you, yeah, nice, cool.
So firstly, your name's Nav, right?
Yep.
Never heard it before. Is that your full name or is that a nickname or?
No, Navarone's my name.
Navarone.
Yeah. How it come about is, so I was born in actually Adelaide Hills in the woods there, and 2 weeks late, Mum didn't like hospitals, so I was lucky for me. My auntie was a midwife anyway, so. Yeah, sure enough, Mum had a home birth and cord wrapped around my neck. So, and 2 weeks later, so pretty much born not breathing.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, cut the had Mum had to reach inside, cut the umbilical cord, and then pull me out and show me upside down a bit. Mum was like, "Oh, bugger, 9 months wasted." Like, I think she had a stillborn. That's my mum for you. And then had to come up with a name, but couldn't think of anything. And she has a policy where, because she's a chiropractor. And she had a policy, she never said no to anyone. So someone called her up, said, I can't get a treatment, I got bad migraines. She said, just had a kid. If you want a treatment, you have to come to my place. So he did, he rocked up there and she was treating him. She's like, I can't think of the name. And he's rattling off his names and she couldn't come up with anything. And then finally she just, as she was cracking his neck, was like, Navarone, where do I know Navarone from? That's a good name. That sounds like good, just popped into her head, I guess. Didn't know it was related to the guns of Navarone,
right.
Which is, I think, in World War One, biggest guns in World War One, off an island there. So that's how that came about. And
is that like when you can stop
these guns right here? See, these ain't named guns after me.
That's cool.
So that's how that started.
Yeah. And so then you're also like Australian Cowboy is the Insta handle. Is that kind of what you're now known as? If people...
a lot more people know me as Australian Cowboy than as Nav. So it actually started. So I did a bit of tour stuff up in Kununurra with American high school students, and they just saw the photos on my phone because I was just doing stuff on the station and just take photos of people or whatnot. And they asked if I'd Instagram. I said no, I don't barely even use Facebook. And they said, no, we'll follow you if we'll make you one. I said, no, there's no point, like I don't use it. And no, just for us, we just want to keep seeing what you're doing. Yeah. I said, oh, if you want to, like, make me one. And then they know me as a cowboy and I'm Australian, so they're like, oh, you're an Australian cowboy. I was like, no, guys, don't do that.
Because cowboys is just not the term in Australia.
I said over here with ringers, and calling yourself, that's a bit of a cocky thing to do. Yeah. They said, no, that's how we know you. And I was like, guys, seriously. It might sound cool to you, but it's like, you just don't do that over here. You wouldn't even call yourself a ringer. You just basically, my name is, what's wrong with my name, No, that's how I remember you, and we think it's cool. And I was like, oh, it's just for you guys anyway. Yeah. No worries, go ahead. So they did, and then it started getting some traction. I guess started getting a few people following. And then I was getting a bit embarrassed because I'd go to stations and ringers started having Instagram. Like all the other ringers started having Instagram. And they're like, oh, what's your Instagram? I'm like, Australian Cowboy. Like, what? Australian Cowboy. Yeah. But just give it here, I'll put it in for you. And then I wanted to change it. I wanted to change it back to something like Australian made or just like Nav. And my brother-in-law actually said, look, like, don't be an idiot, change it back. And I was like, Andy, like, trust me, mate, it's so embarrassing, and I don't want to be that guy who just is full of himself. And he said, no, just own it. It's not about being full of it, just own it. You're not lying about what you do. You do as you say you're doing. And just own it and be that guy. And I was like, all right, like, just trust me. So I said, all right, I left it. And it went from there, I guess. And then started getting a bit of traction. Other people started reposting stuff. So
yeah, right.
And then known up there as the Australian Cowboy. A lot of people introduce themselves as their Instagram these days now.
Oh, really?
So I'm Caddy74632. I'm like, I'm Nav. Nice to meet you, Caddy76.
Yeah, gee, good.
Yeah. So that's how that all started, and then from there, people wanted to get me to show them stuff or teach them stuff. I love teaching anyway, so I've always wanted to be teaching or do a survival school type thing.
So is that kind of the focus of what content you put up there now?
Like, that's true. It is. Because I joined the army when I was 18, Army Reserves when I was 18. Up in the Kimberley there in the Air Force, and they had a survival course that they did, a survival wing type thing, and I for years trying to get on that course. Finally got on the course and got asked to come back as an instructor, and was the youngest instructor there, so about 15 years, which was good. And then just found a passion for that sort of. I mean, I grew up with Indigenous of Australia, so I was always out there hunting with them, whatever they were doing, I was doing. So I had a bit of background knowledge on survival and bush tucker sort of stuff.
Yep.
But to be able to teach in bulk and and seeing the passion or seeing things come out of people that they didn't know was there, I guess it gives you a lot. And then be able to give those people a story where they can go away and say, oh, I just did this, I just created fire with sticks, or I just made a wicked snare, or I walked through the night 20 k's with using a stick and navigating, So yeah, then continue with that, and then other companies wanted me to do survival stuff. Survival's a big thing now, I guess. Everyone wants to get out bush and learn a bit of bush tuck and survival stuff. So I'll start hopefully, my aim is to eventually start a survival school up for like young teenagers or younger guys, probably from young teenagers all the way to any age. I'll start something up, but definitely get kids out of school.
So like an excursion?
Or like an excursion type thing, camp. Yep. Take the chairs away, take most comforts away, phone, watches, anything that is man-made type thing, other than maybe your sleeping bag and stuff, or swag to sleep on. They make their own shelters at the cubby, make their own cubby house. Because these days I don't think kids are making cubby houses. They should be, but they're not. I grew up making cubby houses, and these days kids barely even get the chance to climb a tree. Yeah. And everything they do is like this, so... And that's where the world's going. But it's still good, I think, for kids to get out and have this sort of hands-on experience, and then appreciating what it's like to have carpet, to have a toilet, to have a chair. Those little things that people, I guess, take for granted, that once you go out there and spend without it for a bit, you're like, oh, how nice is a chair? Yeah. Oh, so comfy.
Yeah, don't get me started on that, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
Simple things, eh?
Yeah, all the little things. Just as being able to lie down on carpet, a clean ground, like, I can walk on. There's no dirt on my feet. The kids, this is the ones that I have done. They're the little things. That's why I know them. They're the things like, oh, it'd be so nice to sit on the toilet seat. So I'm used to just sitting out in the bush anyway, so I'm used to that. But
the squat trick.
That's it, little squat. You make a little toilet seat. If you want it, one. But all those little things, starting fire, cooking your food on the fire, knowing where your food comes from, knowing that. Because with survival, the aim is to look after your surroundings, because if you run out of your food, then you have to go further and further. So the aim is to not kill or out-eat or destroy what it is you're getting food from. And I think that gives you more of an understanding of nature and a more reason to want to look after it. If you have that sort of understanding, where kids these days, or maybe the next generation, even from my age kind of down, don't necessarily have a full understanding on how the environment works and how to look after it, or a passion for it, because it's like they're disconnected to it. It's like a separate thing. You've got the world here, surrounded with buildings and then that's a completely different world, where this is supported by that. You take that away, the city can't go anywhere. You take the farmers away, you take the people who are looking after the land away, nothing else, mate. Your shops run out.
Yeah, of course.
Supermarkets run out. Yeah. The restaurants run out. That's it,
Well, yeah, because not only because of technology, but in general, people will just like, well, I'll take that. Yeah. That's what I need. Yeah. Don't worry about where the source is. It's just that's available. I'll take
it. That's it.
It's as simple as, it's all going down to the fact of, if you want to find something out, I'll just Google it, I've got my phone right here, and it's that instant pull what you want out. But yeah, it's very true. And especially like while I've been on the road, I've been feeling the same thing in the sense that like everything just makes so much more sense, so much more calm mentally. So if you're running a show like that for kids, just to give them a chance to reset.
And I think that a lot of people don't like going camping or out bush because they think it's uncomfortable, or they've got this fear of bugs or snakes or spiders, whatever the things are. That's reasonable. But I think once you learn how to deal with those sort of things and how to make your area nice and comfortable, like even if it's as simple as having a little stone outside your tent so you can dust your feet off, and then you clean, things like that, how to do hygiene out there, that is quite simple. It takes away those stresses of people going, oh, it's so uncomfortable, you're always dirty, there's always bugs, there's always whatever it is. You can actually, once you get out there and you learn how to deal with that and how to actually work in with that, well then you're not dirty, you're not covered, there's no bugs, you put yourself in a situation where you're not on an ant's nest or something, a bit more of an understanding of how things work, and it becomes less of an encumbrance to want to go out camping. It's not a hard slog to go out camping with this real big, difficult thing. It actually becomes quite easy and quite enjoyable. And then people have a less, start getting that more understanding. So, and that's what we want, that's what we need.
So have you got do you do teaching in terms of school teaching or anything like that? Or is
not yet. That's what I'm slowly getting into. See, I don't have any qualifications really. I left school at quite a young age, dyslexic, so really struggled to read and write, I used to look at a page and see 1,000 letters and wonder how you remember how all those letters go together.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? There are so many letters, and you have to remember every name of combination that there is. And there's combination after combination after combination. You know, it's like, okay, so all those letters make that word. All those letters make, what do those letters make again? Okay, they make that word. You know, it was just struggle. And you can say it was just do more practice. But I honestly believe it's like a sheepdog and a bulldog. One is made or much more naturally going to be better at chasing sheep. The other one might want to, but might not have the same skill naturally as the other one. So he's going to have to work a hell of a lot, and he still might never get to that level. So what's the point of trying to get him there? What are you good at, mate? What can you do? You can do this, you can protect, or you can do whatever. Okay, you're strong. Okay, good. We'll use you for that. And when you need someone chasing sheep, you get your mate over there to chase sheep for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when he needs some strength, he comes and gets you. And I think that's how society should work, and kind of does anyway, where I use a plumber to do a plumber's job, you know, and I use a lawyer to do a lawyer's job. What's the point of me wanting to learn all of those things when as long as I can get on with you, you can help me and I'll help you in what you need a hand in, you know?
Yeah.
So I left school quite young.
How young are you talking?
So 14.
Yeah, okay.
I did homeschooling until year 10 because you have to. But went straight to construction basically and did my homeschooling at construction. Went to coal mines in Queensland for a bit there. That was a hellhole.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't do that again. That was a good experience. You grow up pretty quick working with 45-year-olds and you're only 15. So what you thought was funny to talk about wasn't. So you had to learn real quick to grow up and then learn to deal with money also because you're getting paid a lot of money. So there was a good learning curve. And then once I finished there, I went to do my butcher's apprenticeship.
Yep.
Anything I could do that didn't involve me reading and writing, really, just to try and get ahead. And then went back to doing cattle when I was about 18, up there, back up to Kununurra. So family was up there originally, so it's just, I was always with cattle no matter where I went, but it was good to get back up there and get back to where I was back in the 90s. So and now that this Instagram's going ahead, not to put anyone down, but it's like people think you're somebody because of that, because I've got followers. And so I can use that, I guess, in my advantage to get my word out, get the things out that I want to achieve. Like I want to have a survival school. People go, oh, he's got that many followers. He might be actually know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have the qualification to teach, they can see it. You know what I mean? I can show it right here. Here's what I can do. You know, have a look, and then I can hopefully use that to step around the qualifications I don't have to then be able to teach, or at least teach what I love.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
and proper setup.
Yeah, and I think that's where I guess that's why I'm using Instagram for at the moment, is just to help get show my passion and show what I love, and give joy to the people who like watching it, and teach who people want to learn. Then by all means, you know. So yeah, hopefully that's where everything's going towards. Get a bit of traction with Instagram, and I can hopefully get my word out there for teaching, and then get into the. I don't know. I just love it. I love hearing kids tell stories about what they're probably the best storytellers you can get because they're passionate and it's like all the joy's in their face.
Yeah.
So I can't wait hopefully to get that up and going, and then kids can be telling their story.
And they'll go to the Christmas party, tell grandma and granddad.
That's it. That's it. I'll go back to school. Yeah. Even these days, I feel that if you don't have a story to tell, you might feel a little bit left out of a group. But if you have a story to tell or something to add, then you're like, oh, also with this, and you go, oh yeah, I've done that before. I did this, and I went to the Kimberley, and I caught a barramundi, and I put it on the fire, and I started fire with sticks, or whatever it is. Yeah. People are like, oh wow, and that person feels fulfilled. He's got, you know, a captive audience, or people who are giving him energy, you know, he's giving joy to them. He's got their attention, and I think that is a huge part of growing up and feeling like you're part of a group.
You're adding value.
Yeah, adding value, and you're part of this thing, and then someone else tells their story, and he can connect with it because he knows what it feels like to get that excitement. So I think it's a huge part of growing up, especially, is they should have these stories that helps them connect to others who have had similar experiences.
Yeah. So when you got up to Kimberley as family, was that like, how old were you at that stage?
First one up there, I was 9 when I first went up there.
So before you were 9, you were in Adelaide Hills?
Adelaide Hills, yep. Adelaide Hills, with a little farm out there, and cattle and emus and ostriches and a bit of a old McDonald's farm, really.
Yeah. And what were you, like, how were you making money out of that, like the family?
No, it was more just, so we
lived on the paddock?
Yeah, lived on the paddock type thing, just sold a few little cows around the place, but nothing massive, just a couple at the auction every now and then.
Yeah.
Just because we had the land, we used it.
So what did your folks do?
So my mum's a chiropractor,
Yep.
actually, and so was my dad, so there you go, they're both chiropractors. So it's quite a, what's the word? Professional,
yeah, for want of a better word.
Definitely, but
compared to just like a typical farmer kind of.
Yeah, but my father's side is Italian,
right?
So big Italian family. So you got, and most of them. So my nonno, he was all farming and that sort of stuff. So their farmer's side, and there's a couple of them that, and then my father's gone to bloody do chiropractic, and the rest of them are all out. Builders, cattle work, farming, all that sort of stuff. So I guess I've taken after that sort of way, even though my mum wanted me to go to university and she had big dreams for me, big hopes, I think. So yeah, I've kind of taken on that side of, I guess, been outside my entire life. I even as a young kid, mum used to keep a spare pair of shoes at the school because I used to rock up all the time in bare feet. I used to get to school, and my cousins that were there, or sister I went with, they used to see me in bare feet. So to get to school without any shoes was a normal thing.
Right.
And then it was like, oh no, the teacher's like, how can you get past, everyone with no bare feet? And I was like, I don't know, I'm so used to not wearing it, so they used to keep a pair of shoes at the school, yeah. And then mum would come and pick me up after school and then bring my other pair, leave them there, and I'm got the pair of my feet now, and get in the car, take the shoes off,
That's classic.
Always get in trouble for taking them off at lunch breaks, I was always like catching lizards and putting them in the teacher's desk or something silly. And,
okay.
It's probably better that I left school at that stage because I think teachers are getting upset, getting annoyed with me. So.
But they're probably telling stories about
that's exactly right. I had this kid, with lizards and everything that could find bugs and stuff in my bloody desk.
So you were like 9 when you moved up to Kimberley. Mm-hmm. What was the change of scenery like, in the sense of Kimberley's quite isolated, really? Kununurra's, still a decent sized town. But
that's true, and I remember being up there at that age, and we didn't have aircon in the houses or anything. I don't know how we did it, but I don't remember it being maybe because I was young and I didn't have much to compare it to.
Yeah.
It just seemed like that was what we were doing, and that's how it was.
Yeah. So you're dealing with the 45s
at night time. We had little spray bottles, and you're going to spray them on you, like we're just lying there with the fan on.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was just myself, just a couple of cousins lying on in the lounge room, like on a towel. That was how we slept through the wet season. Like, it was just, now that I think about it, I'm like, God, I don't think I could, like through the wet season up there, even we finish on the station and we come into, we got blocks out of town there.
Yeah.
And you got to have aircon, like your body gets zapped
from
that heat. Like, I don't know how you recover, I guess because you're young, but bloody hell, it's ridiculous.
So you've grown up doing that, Army Reserves.
Yeah.
What was it about the Army Reserves that attracted you to that?
I think we got a long history of both my grandparents, both sides in the wars, in the army. So I guess I wanted to do it.
Was it part of like a duty for the family kind of thing?
Nah, I don't know. Not really. I actually really like the idea of, I guess, being a bit patriotic.
Yeah.
If something happened to this country, I would hope that I can help protect it. And the problem is I've got a love for the land, so I can't do full-time army because I want to be out here. But if for whatever reason I get the call, damn it all, I'll go. I love this country and I'm happy to fight for it. I'm happy to die for this country, absolutely. We are very lucky in Australia. Like, we have an amazing country. Good people. We haven't got too many neighbours that want to cause too many troubles. So yeah, I thought, join up, buddy. Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
And so what sort of skills did you pick up? So one of the guys I've previously chatted to was in the reserves and did the 4RAR, I think it's called. But yeah, so if you can talk about like what you went in with, what were you expecting first, but then what did you actually take out of it?
So I was expecting a bit more just to be especially with North Force, because it's a very unique unit. I was expecting just the typical boot training, running around guns, that's the cool stuff. But North Force is because it's mostly recon surveillance. So, and we actually do live operations in Australia. So, and on with border security. So we work with border security, work with the local coppers, illegal fisheries, that sort of stuff. Because you've got people smuggling in and smuggling things out, whether it be animals or that sort of stuff. You've got a lot of airstrips out there.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of space up there, The whole north of Australia, there's space and there's no one in it. So people can be doing all sorts of stuff, growing all sorts of things, and no one would ever know. So we have the capability, whether it be on vehicles, whether it be by boat or on foot, to get out there and search those areas, or just watch it and see if there's any activity, whether it be black flights, planes flying in. So it ended up being a lot more hands-on with what I do naturally, which is go out and explore.
Yeah.
So we're going out with vehicles though, and getting to places you can't normally get to, park them up, then pack march in somewhere, and search a river or search a little, even if it's going out to boats and going to little islands, off the coast.
Yeah.
So yeah, massively. Probably the biggest things that I take away from it is another more appreciation for the land I've got and what's out there, and how very lucky we are, because having more understanding of the army, you kind of understand what pressures from other nations are on us.
Yeah. Okay.
And we are very lucky of being Australia, but also the medical side of things. So I went through as a combat first aider. I did, because you can do, the more qualifications you have, the more, not only the more you get paid, but the more you can get used for different jobs.
Yeah.
So I went straight away, did my combat medic course, combat first aider, sorry, and that deals a lot with trauma and giving needles and drugs and all that sort of stuff. So that was very, very handy to take home and use on the station. So you're dealing with wild animals and balls, you're dealing with broken bones and puncture wounds and all sorts of things, rolled bikes, rolled vehicles, So that is something that I'll probably use the rest of my life. At a minimum, is just the medical side of things I learned from there. But also, there is a certain amount of discipline, brotherhood, a type of you watch your mate's back, he's got yours, and then just being able to say that if anything happens to Australia, that I can be proud that I'm going to do my part, do my part. Yeah.
So are you still listed as a reserve or something?
Yeah, been there 10 years now. So.
Yeah, and does that involve anything during the year?
Yep, so a couple of times a year, they have operations go on or training exercises. You have to keep up a certain amount. Yeah,
so how long were you actually in there full time kind of thing on the reserves?
I never went full time because Reservists is just part time.
Oh, okay, so when you were 18, it was only how many days a week? Or?
So it's the same now. So you got every Tuesday night.
Yep.
You try and get in. On the station, that's a bit difficult, but being in North Force, they kind of understand that. They appreciate the fact that you got to come 3 or 4 hours to get in.
Yeah.
The Tuesday night you can make it, you make it, but then you try and set aside, they'll give you some dates for some training or an operation or something that's coming up, and you try and set aside your time through mustering to get on board and do some a course, or whether it be an operation. So you try and manage, especially once off season, like wet season, we did as much army stuff as we could.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's too wet to get out there and too damn hot, so you get army stuff.
So what sort of fitness requirements do you have to have?
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Look at all 20 push-ups, or is it 100 push-ups?
No. Once you're in, there's a certain thing to get in. Once you're in, it's just it's probably an average level, just a bit above the average level of fitness. You need to be able to move in a certain way. Living on the land or out in the station, most ringers will be able to handle the fitness because you're getting chased by things, you're running, you're moving, you're lifting things, you're carrying things.
Jumping fences.
Yeah, jumping fences. Yeah. That keeps you at an average level of, or a bit above the average level of fitness.
Yeah.
So once you're in, it's, you do your 30, 40 push-ups, you have to be able to do that quite easily. You have to do a 2.4k run in under a certain time, 100 sit-ups type thing. And then there's a few other things they do. And they do training with you Tuesday nights, or on courses they'll do a bit of fitness just to make sure see where you're at and make sure you're still maintaining. It's up to you to maintain your own fitness. So,
yeah. So then, how did you actually get into the mustering and all that kind of stuff? Was that, if your parents are chiropractors, then you were saying you went out and fought the extended family thing.
Yeah. So
it's not that easy to just go,
no, it's not. Myself and my older cousin, so I went to work for him when he was doing construction. And we worked together, and it was about 2 or 3 of us. And then we wanted to get back to doing cattle. He's a bit older than I am, so he was actually up there in the 90s as a young fellow. He was born in the vegetable patch, basically in Equestria Station.
Right.
So he was born on the land out there. So we wanted to get back up there, and we head up there not knowing we were going to go back to Equestria, but just we were going to get somewhere. Like, we love it. It's in our blood, you know.
Yeah.
And then when Equestria, the possibility of working on Equestria with another fellow, we went in partnership with him. So we put a lot of money together basically, and started just jumped into it.
Yeah.
It's a big difference because I've worked cattle. We had everywhere I've lived, we had cattle. So with the Adelaide Hills or back at Queensland here, we had animals. Always working with cattle and horses. To go out, get up there, and think you know what you're talking about when it comes to cattle was the biggest mistake. Like it was 100% backflip of working with cattle. Down here, you work from behind the cattle basically, and you just move them along. You can draft them. You can just you work on them, and their I guess like sensitivity bubble is a lot closer. Like used to be this close to them before they want to move. But up there, those animals are wild. They never see people.
Yeah, well, they're not fenced most of the time.
That's it, and half of them aren't fenced. So when you get anywhere near them, and they can't get away, they're coming at you. They are flat out at you, and actually want to do damage. They want to kill you. Like they got horns on them like this, you know, and they can just as accurate as me with my finger. They are with their horns. Yeah. So it's their weapons, you know. That's what they deal with all their life. They know exactly where they are and where to put them. So that was a big jump. It probably took me from the first time I jumped in the yards, probably 4 years before I could sit there and say, okay, I know what you're thinking. I know what that cow's thinking. And yep, you got the high head there. I know what you see that ear twitch there. You little cheeky little bastard. You know, you can kind of start to pick it up. But that first year I hopped in the cattle yards, my boss grabbed me by the shoulder. The shop wasn't paying. He grabbed my back of the shirt and was like, "Lead from the in front of the cattle. You know, stop getting behind the cattle. Just stand in front of them and kind of let them run past you rather than work from behind them." Pushing me forward, pushing me back. I was like, freaking out. Things coming at me. He's stepping me to the side. They miss me. He steps back in again, pushing forward. So I had to learn that way. But even the next year, got back. I was like, okay, I did pretty good last year. Next season, we jumped in. First thing that chased it, ran at me. I was up the rails. I was like, where'd my confidence go? Like, what happened? I thought I had it, you know. Third year, same sort of thing happened, but I guess I got it back quicker. Instead of taking 2 months to get the hang of it, it was like 2 or 3 weeks. Fourth year, I hop in the yard and go, okay, I know what's going on. I know you. I remember you from last year, you bastard. So yeah, it took a while to change what I knew about cattle to working with wild cattle. Even coming back down here, I go to a little farm and help out. And I'm going to the front of the cows and they're running away from me. And I'm like, how do you work with these cattle now? Like, completely different. And they're getting really close to me. I'm like, are you going to run at me? Or how close? Like, when are you going to start reacting to me? Like, normally I do this thing and everything moves, you know? You do this and everything, all ears twitch and look at you. You're dancing with them up there. It's like you're dancing with cattle. It's seriously little shoulder movements, body movements, step forward, step back, step forward, step. You can draft a whole yard just by one step, one step, one step, one step, one step, you know?
It sounds like you'll be a good rugby league player.
Mate, and it comes at me, I just run, you know?
That's classic. Yeah. So have you actually ever been like seriously injured or?
A couple of good injuries, yeah. So I've cracked ribs, shoulder, hairline fracture in the jaw, I did my kneecap. A lot of those was in one injury actually. I've got a horn to the back of the leg, a big horn scar in the back of my leg here. I was riding a two-wheeler once. When I first got, I think it was third year in, fourth year in. Yeah. Still pretty cool, you know. Thought I was pretty cool.
Just called yourself Australian Cowboy.
Australian Cowboy. Riding a two-wheeler, and thought that, you know, because that's the funnest thing to do. It's cool. It's awesome being on a two-wheeler. I don't mind horses. It's just you're kind of limited to taking the horses because you got to look after them. You can't take them up.
Well, you can't turn them off at any point.
Yeah, and you can't turn them off. That's it. And if you make a mistake, they pay for it. You know, you're going to hurt them. So I went with bikes, the two-wheelers, and I was about, so I started at 5 in the morning, it's about 7:30, 7:45 type thing. Still hadn't even seen a cow. The chopper's above and ahead that I met was buzzing ahead. He's on cattle. I'm just trying to keep up to him. The cattle are moving that quick, and I'm on rock, pure rock. And when you're on rock, you kind of just doing this thing, you know, letting the bike take its own path. A couple of times I'd bounce into a little tree and bang, stop, you know. But
how fast are you going?
Oh, first gear. First gear, just kind of this, ding, 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 trying to store. They're big rocks. And I finally get close to the chopper and he's just hovering and like going up and down this one spot. I was like, "Oi, mate, you got something, do you need a hand?" He's like, "Oh, "Oh, you're here, are you?" "Yeah, I'm here." He goes, "Yeah, I've got this Mickey bull sitting under this bush here. Can you come and scare him out so I can get on him?" "Yeah, no worries." Finally get up to him. I see him hiding under. He's hiding in the bushes. And he's like looking up like this at the chopper, thinking he's hiding. He's under this tiny little bush, and they do that. The cheeky bastards, so he's like this.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, he's got big horns on him. How am I going to get? They kind of come back a little bit, so it's not too bad, but I can't go very fast. Well, if I zigzag towards him, if he comes at me, I can take off. If I come at him and he comes at me, I can't really turn that way, Right, so I thought, because you can't steer, but at least if I can zigzag, I might be able to get away enough for the chopper to drop in. Anyway, zigzag got pretty damn close before he got up, and he got up. Whack! Just hit me, bust me side of the jaw, sent me flying. First it hit the ground with my kneecap, cracked it actually across the kneecap, broke in half. And yeah, it's pretty upset, broke the clutch on the bike, and then he came at me again, and I dropped the rock on his head. But yeah, so that was probably one of my biggest to that time, and then realised that I should go quads. At least with a quad, I can get off or turn the bull bar at him, and he can have a go at the bull bar. They'll still lift it and pick it in the air, but you've got something for him to focus on rather than focus on you. Because once the bike's down, you're the only thing standing.
Yeah. But quads are easy to roll.
They are. They're easy to roll. That's right. You just got to be more careful on them. That is true because a lot of people sit down on a quad and you're quite relaxed.
Yeah.
Where on a two-wheeler you're always watching your balance anyway.
Yeah.
But then you went to quads and then I did a lot more. Then I got into my catching. So I sit back in the mob and do the Mickey, anything turn around, hand catch it, and then tie it to a tree and pick it up later on.
Yeah, okay.
Which is then what I got into, and that became my kind of thing.
So what's the chopper actually trying to do? And you say find it, catch it, so he can come down.
Well, so choppers, because you've got so much land up there, most of the Northern Territory, Kimberley and North Queensland will use helicopters because you're covering such huge distances. It's hard for people to run that going back and forth. You lose cattle in front. They're cunning little bastards. They run around you.
Yeah.
The choppers actually do most of the mustering. You're kind of there just to help out or keep an eye on a mob as he goes. I've got
so the chopper kind of directs them.
Yeah, the chopper does all the directing. That's it.
Yeah,
And the better the pilot, the better the cattle go.
Yeah.
So they have to have as much cattle sense as the people on the ground, if not more, because what they're using is their noise to direct the cattle. So they're going to be super aware of where their noise is and what their pressure is. They can be, 500-600 meters away, and then them cattle are already turning.
Yeah,
so then there's no need for them to go any closer.
Yeah, okay.
So they're going to be super aware of what they're doing up there, same as the guys on the ground.
Mm.
But they mainly use us on the ground to look after a mob. Maybe they might have a mob here and they go, all right, can you keep an eye on this mob? And then I'll go get something else and bring them in. Or just if something's hiding.
Yeah.
You have to go in and get them out so they can get on them and get them moving.
Yeah, right. Gee whiz.
So yeah, they're definitely handy, but in the end, they are just a big bluff.
Yeah.
It's a big bluff, because what can they actually do?
Yeah.
Nothing. If you get bulls that get so angry at the choppers, they just turn and bail up on them and just try and chase the chopper, And it's like the chopper can't do anything other than try and land on his bum, Although sometimes they have shotgun salt pellets.
Yeah, okay.
To try and just get them moving, but yeah. Once they give up on the chopper, then unless you just go up there and catch him and throw him in time to a tree, it's your only option.
So like working days, starting at 5:30, you're saying on that occasion?
Daylight, pretty much daylight.
Yeah.
As soon as it's daylight, you're out there.
So then what are you doing when you're settling down at the night time? Are you going fishing or are you...
If I get an hour, if we finish an hour early, bloody open fishing.
Yeah.
Because we're out there, just any direction you can go fishing.
Yeah.
And catch a barramundi, bring it back for a feed. But generally you work until dusk, then go down. All our camp spots in Equestria are on like a nice water hole or a hot spring or some really good spot. That's where you wash in. So go back, wash up, there's a feed ready. Camp cook's been cooking, have a wicked bowl of pasta or whatever it is. Everything tastes good when you're out there.
Yeah. And
then in bed by 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You get the campfire as your light. So
well, it's like me, whenever the midges start coming out, it's time to go to bed.
That's it. Well, in the dry season, it's heaven up there.
Yeah.
It gets down to 15 degrees at night time. So it drops right down to a perfect temperature that you just like out.
Chill out,
Up at 4 o'clock the next morning, have a cup of tea, go on again.
Have you ever thought about applying for the show Survivor?
Survivor?
Yeah.
I have. I've had people ask, but from what I can see, I just watched an episode actually only just last week. It's the first one I ever watched.
Right.
And it doesn't look like there's anything to do with surviving other than it's almost like politics, a bunch of politics really. they're all like trying to find a way to get in this person, give it, and it's like backstabbing. Like, I'd rather you personally, physically stab me than do that. You know, like I don't think I'm an asshole enough, really, to be able to do that to someone. Have a good conversation with them, face to face. You know, get my word, or even my word. Even if I don't shake your bloody hand, my word. If I can't give you my word, then how worthy am I? You know.
Yeah.
A man is his word. You know, so you're only valuable as your word. So. I don't know how I'd go. I don't think I could.
I reckon, like, because I'm a bit of a fan of the show.
And I'll get kicked off straight away.
I'm going to apply next year.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, they won't pick me or whatever. I'm not as charismatic.
Yeah.
Or the quiet little, you know.
No, they need a couple of guys like you on there. You know, they always have that quiet guy that think that he can do something.
Just the one who just kind of weaves.
That's it. That's it.
But yeah, in the beginning sections of the show, like they've got to build their shelter. They've got to, like, if they haven't won a reward challenge, they got to go fishing and all that sort of stuff. So they might be like, oh, we'll keep him around the camp because he'll be like, he'll supply us food, he'll make our life easy.
That's it.
And then before you know it, you're near the end, and then they're like, we better get rid of this guy.
That's it. That's probably right. Because I did my survival course, so I didn't get asked to come back as an instructor on my survival course. It was only because the students basically helped me get told the instructor. So just before my survival course, I broke these two things. I dislocated this one and snapped this one. So
how did you do that?
Playing AFL.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, tackled someone and just, I don't know, grabbed them like this, hit the ground, and these two fingers were down here. So pulled them back, and then they slipped back down again, and then I was like, did it again, and they slipped back down again. I was like, went to my mate, and I was like, here, just pull these. Like, whoa! And I was like, just pull them quick. And so I held them in place, went up and put them in an ice bucket. But then the next weekend was a survival course. You have an injury, you're off.
Yeah,
you can't do the survival course. So I couldn't tell them. So, and that's my right hand that I do everything with.
Yeah.
And the reason how I got on the course was because I met one of the instructors earlier in the year on one of my operations, and I was out there fishing and wrapping fish in paper bark and burying it and cooking it, and doing all this stuff. And he was like, why are you on the survival? Would you get on the survival course? I was like, hell yes, I've been trying to get on for years. And he's like,
right.
You're on. I can see you've already got some skills. That's good.
Yeah.
Butchery skills, which is a big part of
because you did your apprenticeship.
Yeah. So and then I do pet fooding in Kununurra, so I do a lot of butchering. And then I got on this bloody course, and I'm trying to do stuff chopping, but I can't bend these two fingers. So trying to chop a spear, I was pretty much useless. Even if I held it in my left hand, held the stick and trying to chop my left hand, is the vibration.
Yeah, right.
And then you have to make 6 minutes of string. Like, you can't stop that finger from bending. So it's like trying to roll string. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to fail the course. And so what we end up doing is like, guys, look, I can't make the string, but I can make the material. I can find the bark, I can find all sorts of stuff. If you roll it for me, I'll keep supplying you the materials. We'll make 6 meters together,
Yeah.
I'll make 12 and then split it. So I ended up just working with the guys, and I was limited to what I could do, but I had to hide the whole time. Like, if the instructors come, I had to pretend like I could hold my knife properly. I could pretend like during lessons I, try to write where they couldn't see me because I can't keep these two fingers bent. During the butchering lesson, anyone want to give it a go? I was like, no, do you want to have a go? Because I knew I could do it. And I was like, oh, no, it's all right. I just let, the other guys have a go, and they're like, why isn't this guy participating?
Yeah, right.
Like, we know what he can do. Like, why is he sitting in the back of the class, minimal effort in everything he does? Because if my spear could work, I was like, yep, I've done a spear. And they're like, why haven't you polished it off? I can't. I'm crying myself to sleep.
So did you end up passing?
So yeah, what ended up happening is when we went out bush though, so 1 week of training, and then 1 week they send you out bush, all the guys. And so one guy got like 2 fish, one guy got 3 or 4 fish, and I caught 48 fish, 48 fish, and 2 big sharks.
How did you manage that?
I took line, so I told the guys, I said, if you give me, we have 3 meters of fishing line and 3 hooks each. I said, if you give me your 3 meters of fishing line, I'll catch your fish.
Yeah.
So that's what I can do. I can't make anything, I can't help us make shelter, but I can catch your fish, just let me go. And because I grew up in my area, it's just out of Darwin there, I know that area, I know the fish that are up there.
Yeah.
So I was catching heaps of bream, and then also we had too many, so I was giving to other teams.
Yeah, right.
That were struggling with their feed. Just because they helped me out a lot, like everyone helped me out. Like I was getting carried a lot by the team, so whatever I could give back, I had to. Like this is a team effort. If we caught a fish this big, I'd share it amongst all of us. We had to.
Yeah.
But I was actually a bit more of a drag, I guess, because I couldn't do a lot of the big work because I cooked with my fingers. But food, do that. So they let me do that. And then at the end of the course, they asked 3 of the students to come back as an instructor. They'll keep, and then they'll probably only ask 1 that will make it and actually be an instructor. And I didn't get asked. So mine was like minimal effort, stood back of the class, didn't help out where he could have. I was like, oh God. But, so 2 of those, if you don't make fire sticks, you actually fail the course.
Yeah,
if you
right.
don't start fire. And I gave my fire sticks to 2 fellas who hadn't made it yet by the last day. And so the last day they got fire. And there was 2 of those guys got asked to come back.
Right.
But I also gave all them fish as well. And I didn't know this, and I thanked them so much, but they found out that I wasn't asked to come back as an instructor. They actually went back into the instructors and said, look, you didn't ask him to come back, but he just did this course with 2 broken fingers, and he caught up 48 fish, and he gave us our fire sticks. And the instructors didn't know this, because they don't see us when we're out there. They say, see you later, you survived.
Yeah.
And I would have bought those guys a beer if they told me what they were doing. Honestly, I've only even seen one of them since.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you drink? What do you want? You know, like, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you 3 blokes going in and saying something, because I don't want to go in and say, hey, I just had 2 broken fingers. Like, so yeah, the only reason why I'm in the position doing this survival stuff, I guess, is because of those guys.
Yeah.
So I do thank them for that. And mostly everything I've done actually is from someone helping me out.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah.
Well, that's kind of like the nature of the Australian kind of way.
Yeah, I believe that is the Australian way. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, you help a mate out. Yeah, absolutely. So.
And like you were saying, you utilise someone's strengths, and if you've got a weakness, well, that's all right. You're probably going to complement that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, so cool. That's how I got in that position, and that's because of those guys. So, yeah.
That's cool. Look, I can't ignore it. You've got Ringers Western written on your hat. You've got Ringers Western on your chest, and I'm assuming they're the Ringers jeans. And
yeah, they are Ringers jeans actually. I'm underpants. You want some underpants?
No, I'm all good. So, well, firstly, where did it start? And
that's a good story. So
it was an idea that just popped into your center.
No, it wasn't really an idea. So look, there's my sister's ex-model. She's always Nika. She's always wanted to do her own sort of clothes. But she's lived on the land with us, so we're out in the station there. You always get, you know, I won't mention the brands, but you always get your brand that you've grown up with.
Yeah.
And then it tears, and you have to pay $150 for another work shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, just tore it. You know, if we could have our own clothes, imagine we could do this. You know, we could make this, we could change this. And we always talked about it, and it was like, anyway. Good night, off to bed, you know. Next day someone else does something or gets sunburnt here because the sleeves are too short, you know, or the shirt keeps coming out so it gets caught on stuff, you know, rather than having this a little bit longer, you know, or it always frays across here and putting an extra thing on there or whatever it was. All these little things that you start thinking about and going, if we could, you know, because you got a lot of people, if we could do this, imagine we could do this, we could do this, and then it was like, oh. Anyway, good night, off to bed. Yeah. And then finally Andy, which is Anika's other half, said, look, he actually grew up in Sydney, so he wasn't really out there in the. He's not really he's a country at heart.
Anyone from Sydney?
Yeah, he's country at heart. You know, country at heart.
Yeah.
But has a lot more fashion sense than any of us did.
Right. And
he said, "Look, why don't we just do something? Why don't we just get into it? You know, I'll go and do some research if you want me. Like, yeah, sure, go. Like, have a look." And so him and Nika went and actually did a whole lot of research into like good 6 months, a year of how long it would take. You know, they went and spoke to a whole lot of people, spent a lot of their time doing that, and then came back and was like, look, we could do this. We could all just pitch in. We could all just, you know, and start with something small. And we're like, Andy, like, how serious are you actually? Like, we're ringers. You know, like, think about it. We know nothing about
our business,
the rag trade.
Yeah.
You know, like, nothing about at all.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to just step into that? And he goes, no, you know, and he had all these plans, which was good. And we said, like, look, if we're going to do it, like, you better be full heart and soul, you know, like, you've got to be pushing it because we don't know what we're doing. You've got more of an idea than anyone, you know. So, and he's basically, yeah, no, let's do it, you know. Like, all right, start the first process, you know, which was go out and actually find a brand. So it was like, here's some napkins. And write down what you think had names, you know, and then a few names got passed around the camp, you know, quite a few times. Until we finally come up with a name, and they had to find a brand, a logo, And then we had a couple of photos of bulls in the yards, and we took one of those photos that looked the best and basically did a
cartoon of
a literally clean skin bull, a wild thing, still got its nuts on it, so it hasn't been cut yet, still got its ears on it, you know. So it's like, why do you need to test it? Well, it's clean skin, it's a wild animal, it hasn't been caught yet, it lives wild, you know.
Yeah.
And got the most spirit. And then, he went away and started with small, just hats and stuff. I was like, okay. Then he finally got the first load of hats back, handed a couple out to everyone. I was like, all right, let's do this. Crack a beer. We literally all had a beer, cracked it around a campfire, like, cheers to this. You know, like, this is ridiculous. What are we doing? And then we got a lot of, so what we did is we went to a lot of the stations around and said, what do you like in workplace? What do you think? Like, we're thinking this. And like, yeah, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we're thinking. So we had a lot of help from all the different stations around, a lot of support and a lot of feedback.
Yep.
And so when we did finally get out there, you straight to those guys, here you go, what do you think? You know, like, yeah, this is good, or no, I didn't like this bit, or can we change this, or can we add to this? And all of us feedback, big team of people, the better quality you're going to get.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things we said was, look, if it fails, it all goes to shit. But as long as we stick to the best quality we can get and exactly how we like it, then when it does fail, we're left with a lifetime supply of clothes, just the way we like them, you know? And that was the attitude kind of thing, like, well, how bad can it be? At least we'll have clothes for the rest of our lives, exactly how we like it.
Yeah.
But no, we got a lot of support from heaps of stations that just kind of took off, and like the fastest growing clothing brand in Australia.
Yeah, right.
And then all of a sudden it was like, we could make this, and then we can make this, and people are like, oh, why don't you make some of these? You know, that's a good idea. Yeah. Let's make some of those. We really like those. You know, let's make good jeans like that, or let's make this, or let's make the pockets a bit longer so you can put your bloody phone in. You know, just little things. And then it took off. So
there you go.
Now all the ringers are down here stuck in the warehouse because it was like Andy went down and Nika went down because we've got to do it at Kununurra, but it takes 2 weeks to get postage in and out. So that was a bit of a silly dream. So that changed pretty quickly. And then went to the Gold Coast, and because we had a team of about 7 at the time that all pitched in, it was like, you're good with computers, I need help with the setting up the computer stuff. You go down. He's like, okay, I'll go down, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, you're good with driving trucks, you go down. He's like, oh, okay, I'll go down. I was like, sweet, you know, we're still up here in the outback, you know, like, I'm gonna have to leave. And all of a sudden it was like 2 people left. Everyone else was down here helping out because it was growing much faster than we ever expected it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all of us are down pretty much helping out. I still live up there mostly. But,
so what's your role? Is it modelling it for the
test trial. I'm the tester. They send it up to me. I'll put them through the hard yards, and if it's any good, I'll say, yep, good to go.
Yeah. So when you guys first started, when you're doing like, you got the design, you got the products, and you're trying them out, and you're like, oh, what do you reckon? Does this work or not? Yeah. Was that like 100% investment and no return at that point in time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. No return forever.
So like, how did you have the balls to do it when you start seeing the cash going out? I think you stuck at it.
I think what happened is it was a commitment issues. We just committed to it and went, we're going to do this, then we have to commit.
Yeah.
We just have to commit. And when we needed to get more stuff, it was like, well, sell some more cattle. We have to sell more cattle. Like, sell more cattle. And I was like, no, my cows, you know, I hope this close one works out because this is my cows.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you go all in or get out, you know, sink or swim.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and in the end, we can always go back to cattle. You can always go back. If it doesn't go anywhere, you can always go back. But the problem is you got like Andy and Nika, who it is their baby, you know, like they put a lot of hard effort into it, and then as people got taken out from the communities come down here, it becomes, you know, like you're putting a lot of effort and a lot of your time and a lot of everything, your hard-earned money into it. You can't help but just own it, you know. And,
so would you ever come down here full time kind of thing, or is it like, nah, I'm staying on the land?
Look, if it needed, I would. If I had to, I would.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be just yet that much. But that is my heart.
Yeah.
That's my home. You can't, no matter how, if I lived down here for 10 years, that's still my home.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I have to, by all means, I do love Ringers Western, and it means a lot to me just seeing, especially, you know, having the people that I work with, you know, even them putting their full heart and soul in it, it's like you can't leave them, you know, you can't just let them do the hard stuff, and you know, that's your mates, you know, you gotta help each other out. That's how it started, helping each other out. We're going to keep going, helping each other out until we all decide to leave it, or we continue carrying on, you know?
Yeah.
So it is, that's why I love our logo was sticking together. Like, don't leave me, mate.
Yeah,
Don't leave me. Like, keep going together. We will struggle because it is going to be, it's business. You're going to have times where you are going to probably yell at each other, just like you do in the cattle yards. You yell and scream like idiots.
Yeah.
But you're still there. In the end, your goal's the same.
Yep.
And you're both all aiming for the same outcome.
Yeah. No, it's just even walking through this warehouse, you're like, man, like, it's obviously turned into something huge, but it's still got the same core thing in every single one, you know?
There's still a bunch of ringers in the warehouse, you know? Which is what a lot of that, because we've got like designers and you've got other people that we don't have the qualifications for any of it. So we had to get a lot of people in. And even they say it, they're like, this is nowhere I've ever worked before. You guys bring horses upstairs into the office, you know, like up in here, you know, just for fun, to do it. Like, why not? You know, got cattle in the things there, you know, helping carrying clothes up and down the aisles, you know, or playing cricket down the aisles, or have cook-offs, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah. So, like, and are the products all made in Australia?
Not all of them. So some depends.
Because obviously, like you said, best quality, it means that not always is actually going to be in Australia.
No, we found that pretty quickly, actually. Like Australia, so they wouldn't. It was quite difficult to get them to change what they had as original cut, and then what they wanted to put on top of it. It was like, how are we going to sell that to us? I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't buy that. How can I expect the people that I'm selling to, you know, we're going to give it to buy that? So especially when, you know, Andy and that, he's saying, hang on a minute, like, this is his, you know, his baby. He's like, I'm not going to, if you can't give me the absolute best, then I'm not going. I don't care where it's from. I don't care where it's from, as long as it's good quality.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different places. So there's some over in China, some Bangkok, and you got the one down in Sydney, Mexico, America. There's a few different things that we source our stuff from.
Yeah.
So whoever can't do the best stuff, see you later.
Yeah.
I don't care. Look, we don't care how much it costs. I'm happy I'm happy for the company to go down and go bust, rather than lose its reputation of you know, not giving good quality stuff.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. Doesn't matter. And that everyone feels the same. All the guys that's Andrew, James, you know, Anika, all the fellas that put, you know, their heart and soul behind it, and really pushed it. Really, I was kind of just like on a wave kind of.
You're the ringing.
The ringing on the wave. So I can't really speak for them, but you know, we weren't going to go anything other than the best. No matter where it come from, we weren't going anything other than. If it had threads I didn't like, or my biggest thing was, we couldn't pull out a packet and put it on. I don't have time to wash it. No ringers have time to wash their clothes. Yeah. No young fella does wash their clothes unless mum does it for you or your girlfriend or something. Yeah. So if you can't get out the packet and put it on without being like, I need to wash this thing, it's like, I can't wear it. Yeah. Then what's the point of having it? Yeah. Get them to get it. Whoever makes it, they pre-shrink it, they pre-sand wash it, thingamajig, so you get it like.
Put it straight on and get going.
Put it straight on, get straight back to work, son.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So you mentioned, you know, mum and the missus. Yeah. Do you have missus?
No. Single. Definitely single.
So that's why you can go between Gold Coast, Kununurra, and everything so quickly.
Well, look, I go wherever I'm needed, but not a lot of women up there in the outback. Yeah. So I guess I just haven't found the right one yet. That's all right. I'm sure that if one comes along, you can't help it really. But
didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Whatever the heart wants, the heart wants, you know. Yeah. And I'm sure there is one out there for me.
Yeah. One day.
And I'll get around to that. And I want a big family. So I love kids. So I generally have all the young fellas that come up. My sister and aunties and her friends all send all their kids up for school holidays to me. So I'll have this year I had 14 kids from the age of 7 to 13, all out with me. Cooking up steak on the fire and making spears and cubby houses and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, nice.
I'm probably, because I'm still a big kid myself. So when I grow up, I want to have kids.
That's when the missus might come around.
Yeah, that's it. When you build it, and they will come. When I'm sure it's there, you know. Yeah.
So what's next? Is it just for you in the sense of here until dry season again, or like what's and then longer term, like what you're saying,
longer
go to school?
So yeah, longer term is building. I want to get a couple of survival guys myself and start. Even if I do something not up there and it's closer to rural,
just more accessible.
Closer to the cities and that. Yeah, just so that kids can come out, and if it's troubled youth, I'd like to do stuff with troubled youth, because I think a lot of that is because they don't have, they might not have felt like they built up any of their skills, or they don't really know what to do with themselves. But getting them out there, they might find what they're good at, or find what they're not good at. Either way, it's good. It puts you here or there. So and I think that'll help them, get them off the street or get them out of causing trouble. And if I can do something with them, I think that'll be a huge benefit, not only to me, but to them and to society as well. So that's where I want to head towards. I want to do a lot of travelling, because I think the more you can learn, the more people, even like you, the more you can meet people, the more you'll gain knowledge. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can't be a teacher without being a pupil. So, and it has to be at the same time. You know, you're learning from the people you're teaching, you know, you're learning. And I'm a big believer in, it's about who you know, not what you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can know all sorts of stuff, but if you can't get on with your mate, you know, like, it doesn't work. But this, just by me meeting people, I've gotten to so much. I've learned a hell of a lot more than I could have myself. And I've got into the situation that I'm in now today is because people I know, my mates that helped me, you know, here, or you know, because of Andy and Nika getting out there doing ringers, I'm involved with that, you know. So
yeah, cool. So like, when are you heading back up to Kununurra?
A couple of weeks. I can't spend down too long again. I do try, but
and there's plenty of work still, wet season, like
so the wet season. So I do a lot of pet feeding during the wet season. So I go to the crocodile farm, or people in town just go out and get the scrub wild bulls and that. I don't necessarily. I'm not a huge into hunting, because I don't like the idea of just shooting something and not using it for anything. That seems pointless to me, especially because I grew up with the Indigenous of Australia. It was always, you go out to get something to eat. So even if it was where I was using shooting or just fishing, it was, you get one roo, or you get one animal or pig or whatever it was, and we went home straight away, cooked it up and ate it, you know. It was never, I don't like the idea of wasting stuff. I don't like the idea of just killing. There's no point in that, you know. Even with the fish, there's times up there where you can catch 100 fish in a day.
Well, you caught 48 in one of those.
That's it, you know. So you can catch heaps, but unless you've got someone to give to, what's the point? You know, yes, fishing is so much fun. It's incredible. But unless you're going to eat it, what's the point of keep going? You know. And the good thing about Kununurra is I know a lot of Indigenous, so I've got people in town that I can go out, catch 10 fish, and go, got 2 for you, 2 for this old fella, and there's a couple of old Kiwi fellas there that can't go fishing themselves, and a couple of Indigenous ladies that looked after me when I was young. Their kids' sons passed away, so I get fish for them whenever I can. So it's good. I kind of got a network of things that then I can say, okay, now I can go fishing, and I can go fishing every second day because they need their fish. You know, I only eat one fish a week, but those guys, you know, they'll go through 2 or 3. You know.
Yeah, nice. That's good. So before we get going, because we've had very good insight and shared some good stories, is there anything you want to leave with, whether it be just a funny story, a funny joke, or just some advice for the young'uns or something?
This is probably the most you put me on the spot today, actually. I don't know.
You don't have to, you can just plug that.
Look, I love what I do, and I want to get out there and get people to come with me. So if there is anyone who wants to, even you, to come and say good day and have a chat, allow me to express my story, which gives me joy. But I want to give people stories. So what I want to put out there is anyone who wants to come out and do something, learn something, teach me something, please do. Get out there, and we got to see what Australia is. So enjoy
Sounds
Australia.
Good. Next time I'm out in Kununurra, mate.
Yeah, mate, pleasure. So you coming up there?
Yeah, well, I was just up there, but I'll come up again later on.
Yeah, we'll go fishing or something.
Yeah, sounds good.
Out there.
Perfect.
Some bushwhacker stuff.
Legend. Thanks, mate.